McCarthy Insurance Group, serving the community for over 70 years. For home, farm, motor, life, health and business insurance, log on to mig.ie or free phone 1800 50 11 11. Probably your best call in 2024. Charles McCarthy Insurance is trading as McCarthy Insurance Group, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
So I want to know, what was your experience? Do you remember being brought up in a pub, spending a day in a pub, doing your homework in the pub, or falling asleep in the pub because your parents were there all day? My father did not drink, and my mother was never in a pub in her life. But I can still relate to it insofar as many of my childhood friends who would give out about their parents doing it. Somebody else says, "No, I have often spent from 10 in the morning until 11 at night in the pub with both my parents." Oh, God, there you go. See, Fiona, hi, how are you?
I'm very good, Niall. How are you?
Good. Fiona, look, I haven't seen the movie yet. I've seen the trailer for it. When I say movie, it's a short film. But it's exactly what Ireland was, isn't it?
Absolutely. I haven't heard about the film, now, to be honest, only from listening to the show and listening to that guy. But, oh, you've made me laugh. You brought back some very good memories. Now, you were very posh in compared to us because we were given a glass of Raza and a packet of pub crisps. You got a bottle of Coke.
What's Raza? What's Raza?
Raspberry, the cordial.
Oh, cordial. Raspberry cordial.
There is a glass of Raza.
All right, okay. Raza. Yeah, and a packet of pub. Do you remember the Tato pub, Chris? They were kind of like a bigger bag.
We laughed when you said it.
Yeah.
Apart from the side we were neglected, there were happy days.
But see, here's the thing. Because we knew no better. That's the reason we thought they were happy days. But when I listen to the trailer and I hear the poor young fella going, "Are we going home yet? Are we going home yet?"
Yeah.
I can remember saying that to my man and dad. Well, particularly my father, not so much my mother, because most of the time it was just my dad. "Are we going home yet? Are we going home yet?" And there were some pubs where you weren't, they were very strict on kids being in late at night. So we'd be left sitting out in the car park.
Well, at a certain time, we were left out in the car. Now, that would have been, we might have been away at the drag hunts, and they would go on late. So then, my older sisters would have to go to the car with us. But we'd be still sent out your glass of Raz and your pub quiz.
Yeah.
But the happy days, like, we learned how to waltz in the pubs. We learned how to sing in the pubs. There was a social aspect. Do you know, no, there were sad days too. Now, a lot of the men forgot to come home from work with the wage packets them days.
Yep.
And a lot of kids were left hang around the pubs hoping to get daddy out of the pub. But still in all, I would look back in them days with the fondest of memories.
There were kids. There were kids sent to the pub to get their fathers, like 8 and 10-year-olds. Will you go down to the pub and tell your father to come home? Because, of course, we had no mobile phones in those days. You couldn't ring them. So go down to the pub and send them home. Or your ma would ring the bar manager and say, "Will you send, Frank home or whoever home?" You know,
if the pub had a phone.
Yeah, it's if the pub had a phone. Usually a pay phone in the corner, a button A and button B. Yeah.
One phone per terrace at the time.
I mean, I have to say, we do look back at it fondly, but the lads are right. If you look back at it from today's eyes, it probably wasn't really good for us to be, sitting in a pub all day, listening to adult conversations.
As such, but I don't think we were the worst for it. I don't think we were the worst of it, to be truthful, because them days, I think we were inclined we all minded each other, and other people that went to the pub. You might have met your friends down in the pub. Now, as I said, there were sad times too when people were in the pub.
Yeah.
On the Monday to Fridays as well. I think everyone had a story in them days.
Yeah.
But I do miss the pubs. I do. I miss the pub scene from long ago. They're completely different now.
Yeah, no, it is completely changed.
The morning trade was a lovely trade. You always had the older people in around there. That's all gone now.
Do you remember the lock-in? Do you remember they'd have a lock-in on a Sunday?
That's right.
Because there was what was called the Holy Hour, wasn't it? Yeah, the Holy Hour.
The Holy Hour. Yeah. But where I lived, we just lived on the county line, should you say?
Yeah.
So everyone would come out there for the hour. And
right.
then head back into the city again.
Yeah.
So I would, and I've lost. Oh dear, yeah.
I remember the lock-ins in the local pubs across the road from where I lived in Edenmore, and they'd lock them in, and the bar staff would go home, and they just leave the customers in the pub, literally locked in the pub. Like, could you imagine doing that nowadays? The health and safety issues around locking people into a pub. You know what I mean? Literally locking the doors.
It wouldn't be done nowadays.
No.
But as I said, we were a lot more innocent on go, but you know, we still haven't learned. I think.
Yeah.
I think the idea our pubs were locked down the longest during the lockdown there. I don't even want to mention that horrible word. But during the lockdown, you know, our pubs were locked down the longest. And when they opened up, it wasn't the same.
No. I was talking to a pub owner there about 3 weeks ago. I was out having a bite to eat in a pub that I won't mention the name because obviously I'm saying something reasonably negative. But it wasn't that busy now. There was a few people in having dinner, and this place would be famous for people coming in to have their dinner. And I said to him, how's business? And he said, it's not too bad during the day. He said, we get a bit during the day. And I said, what about at night? He said, it's not even worth opening anymore. And I said, but even on a Saturday? And he said, no. He said, he said, ever since the lockdowns, he said, we never got the business back. Never.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Like, even in the locality where I live, you might have 5 or 6 bars on the road. Right now, there's 3, and 2 of those don't open till late afternoon.
Yeah.
And maybe from Tuesday, Wednesday, they're not even open in night times. This is an area now where you would have found a lot of drinkers. So
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a good thing for society, maybe, but a bad thing, obviously, for the pub owners.
People will still drink, Niall, and the sad thing about drinking at home, you're not measuring at home, and you know, that's when the problems start, because drink is for socialising, and the bars were for socialising, and the Irish always use the bars for socialising. That's where we got to get your news, meet up with friends, things like that. It wasn't all about the drink. It was it's a public house, and we all went to the public house for the chat and the banter or whatever else. That's all gone. It wasn't such a bad thing, because now I see people that drink at home, and that's sad.
I know, and a lot of people have become alcoholics drinking at home. Fiona, stay there for a second. Let me go to Angela as well. Angela, hi, how are you?
Oh, Niall, I'm getting so emotional thinking about my times as a child in the pub.
Oh, did you spend a lot of time in the pub?
No, it was just, you see, Niall, I had a wonderful childhood. I really did. I was so blessed with fantastic parents, and where my dad worked, the job, it was called, you know, he worked in De Beers, Industrial Diamonds, and they had this clubhouse, right, for all the
workers, yeah.
For the workers. And there was like 2 bars, 2 snooker rooms, 2 squash courts, you know, tennis courts, rugby pitches, football pitches, hurling pitches, playground, you know. And like, we might have been in the pub, but like, we weren't stuck in the pub, because we'd be in the playground, or we'd be down in the tennis courts or the squash courts, or, you know, and like, I think I'm kind of lucky in one way that I could say, I think I've only ever seen my dad extremely drunk about 3 times.
Yeah.
In my whole life, and I'm 50 now. But like, we used to go down, my dad drank, my mum didn't. You know, Dad might go down, he'd have a couple of shandies. You know, he might have a couple of pints. At Christmas, we'd be down there on Christmas Eve, and he might have 1 or 2 brandies, and that was it. But like, my time in the pub, I think, was a lot different to a lot of other people out there.
Do you ever remember saying the words, "Are we going home yet?"
No. Like, as I said, There was that. There was even a bloody television room there.
Did you get pub crisps,
so,
Tato pub crisps or King crisps? What did you get?
Oh, God, yeah, pub crisps and peanuts. And then what we used to do is we'd pour the peanuts into the crisps.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you put the peanuts
So
into
a bit of a cocktail, yeah.
Bit of a cocktail, and you'd have, the Club Orange. It was never Fanta. It was
oh, look at
Club
this
Orange.
Fiona, this posh one with our Club Orange, huh?
Jeez. That's what we were.
Poor old Fiona, she just got diluted raspberry. Yeah, Raza.
No, but I'll tell you now, kind of later on in the years, right? When I was about 14, 15, 16, our big thing then was tennis, right?
Yeah.
So during the summer, there'd be about 8 of us would meet at the clubhouse at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we'd be there until 11 o'clock at night, right? We bring the old ghetto blaster with us, and we'd be in and out of the clubhouse. The bar would be open, and we'd go up and we'd drink Ribena till the feckin' pints of Ribena with ice. Till the cows came home. And the part, the clubhouse would be open. We'd just go into the bar and get Ribena. We wouldn't have even thought of had a vodka or something because we could just walk in there and get it. And it's terrible that there are so many people out there that have, really horrible memories, but mine were just the best ever. It was great.
Look, by the way, even though I know people are horrified when I turn around and say my dad be pissed driving the car, or we be in and out through the window of the snooker room and the clubhouse and the Alsa Club. Now, this is, for those who don't remember, this is the old Alsa Club, not the new one at the airport, the big new fancy schmancy one that's been there about 20 years. This is the old one, which was a prefab. And it was over on the other side near the hangars. And that's where the staff went to drink. And that's where we'd go on a Sunday morning with my dad. But, I don't look at it in a bad way. Do you know what I mean? Even though you'd be there most of the day,
But when you look at it, I went to see Jason Byrne there a couple of months ago, right? And he turned around on one stage and he goes, I found these the other day and I have to show you, right? So he was kind of like putting up all the old dads. Do you know the one where you don't throw the frisbee up on the pylon?
Yeah.
You blow yourself up. And Granddad sitting by the side of the river. You don't leave him there because next you turn around, he's gone. He's floating down the river.
Right.
Where's Granddad? That one. And then the next one he put up was the 6 pints.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah. Just don't have the 6th one. It had a mark between 5 of the pints and don't have the 6th one.
Yeah.
That
was when they brought in the law for drink driving. So it was from next Monday, don't have that 6th pint. You were allowed to drink 5 or 6 pints.
6 pints.
Yeah.
And the thing was, they didn't have breathalyzers back then anyway.
Now, the guard just looked at you to see how pissed you looked.
How many to have?
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. That's what I said to you. I remember I was coming back one day from the airport or a wedding or something we were at. I don't know what we were at. And my dad was pissed, and the guard pulled him over, in the car, and, everything all right. Yeah. You had much to drink? No. And the guard says, right, give us the keys. And my dad hand over the keys. This happened to him a few times. He'd hand over the keys and just say, go on, make your own way home there now, and you can pick the car up at the police station tomorrow, at the Coolock Garda station tomorrow. Yeah. And that was it. There was no fine. There was no summons. There was no, you know what I mean?
Niall, I'm going back now about 25 years ago, and I had guards do that. They pulled me over and turned around and said, get out of the car. I was like, listen, I'm fine, get out of the car. And one sat into the patrol car, the other sat into my car and drove my car home and brought me home.
Yeah. That's the way it was, And by the way, we didn't know much better than that. And as I was saying to Molly earlier on there, when my dad would get a new car, he loved his cars. I remember he got a new Ford Escort. Yeah. And the neighbours, all the neighbours.
My dad had the Capris.
Yeah, the neighbours would come over, Mr. Ward and Mr. Hayden, and they'd all come over to have a look, because my dad, not that he was well off, but he was better off than most of them around there. He had a good job at the airport, right? So he had a new car. Yeah. And they come over and have a look. And the first thing they'd say is, have you taken her for a drink yet? That's what they'd say. And then my dad go, no, I'm bringing it out for a drink tonight. He'd bring in the car out for they were boasting about it. You know?
To christen the drink. Like, we were the same, because my dad was head of fire, health and safety in De Beers, and he was also a fireman as well. So we did. We were very blessed. Now, I'm not saying that we were loaded, but we were comfortable. He worked hard. And, like, everyone used to say it before Dad even got that job. He was deliveries, he was this. And they'd all say, geez, John Nolan has everything. He's got a lorry, he's got a car, he's got a motorbike, he's got this.
And he has a colour telly.
Yeah. Yeah, and he used to deliver for the distilleries, right? And Dad would tell you that every time you delivered, the pubs would bring you in for a couple of drinks. He said there's nights there he doesn't even know how he got home.
Oh, yeah, but the excuse in those days, the other cliche, don't worry about it, the car knows its way home. Hi.
I'm good. How are you tonight, Niall?
Good, not a bother. How's everyone in Gweedore?
I'm good, sitting in front of a lovely warm turf fire.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Did you grow up in the pub, Mickey? Because you grew up in Dublin, of course. Did you grow up in the pub?
I grew up in Dublin. I grew up first part of my life, I grew up in Galway City.
Okay.
And I was moved Donegal, Dublin, obviously, because of my partner. But I've kind of two parts to this, because I've been listening away there. But growing up as a young fella in Galway City, grew up in what was classed as one of the worst estates in Galway at the time, and say probably 13, 14. And yeah, my dad, he was a builder. It was a common thing. Him and the other ones around the estate, after their day's work, to go in, have 1 or 2 pints. Friday evening job, then the mothers would go in, do their shopping, and they'd go in and meet the fathers, and so we'd be all around. We'd get a few quid off them now, and we'd chip it all together, and we'd get enough together for a few bottles of cider or a few bottles of Buckfast and all, you know. We'd be outside the pub.
Right, so and how old were you drinking your Buckfast?
Probably 13, 14 years of age. But be outside then, because you needed the extra money to give someone to go in and get it for you in the supermarket, you know, because this pub was kind of... The pub was closed a long time. You could get one of your researchers to check it. It was in Ballyban in Galway. The Lantern was the name of the place. And the pub was that bad. It was, when it got dark, they had steel shutters pulled down inside the pub before they put the curtains over. There used to be the odd petrol bomb coming or cars driven through, but we got nothing of it. And as you got a bit older, then when you got your...
It sounds like a lovely location.
It was not the worst, you know.
Did you just say it wasn't the worst? Before it got petrol bombed or cars driven through it?
You can actually Google that if you check the Lantern Bar, Ballyban, Galway. Yeah, there was cars driven through the front doors and all, and setting fire and this kind of stuff. But it was kind of normal. It was just normal. Yeah, that was kind of normal to us, you know.
Yeah.
But upstairs then you had the snooker hall. When you got a bit older, 16 or 17, you were allowed up to the snooker hall, you know.
Yeah. And do you think growing up with that kind of pub culture, do you think it didn't do you any good, probably?
Well, look, I won't admit I wasn't an innocent guy growing up. But during the summer holidays then I had the choice of come up to Donegal, up to Gweedore, you know, my mother's side of the family, and there was a place up here. I don't know, you've been up here before, Niall. You have Bloody Foreland, around Bloody Foreland. There used to be a beautiful pub there called The Heights.
I worked as a DJ in a nightclub in Donegal and Letterkenny. I'm trying to remember the Grill. Was it the Grill?
The Grill. They've knocked the Grill and everything now. So
yeah, there was two nightclubs together. There was the Grill was the bigger one, and I can't remember the name.
And across the road then there was another one across the road.
Yeah,
there was.
Yeah,
that's still going, the one across the road. But the place up here then in Gweedore, it'd be funny because we'd be up at my grandparents' house and we'd have a caravan up parked and I'd be all buzzing, you know, I would go a city for a few weeks, and you wouldn't be going out till 11 o'clock at night. And you go up to this pub and you meet your cousins you haven't seen in years, and she'd be in there till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You'd be running around while all the relations were all half pissed, robbing a few of their whiskies or whatever, and you'd be inside playing pool, throwing it into them. But on the other side of things, when it came to then going, that I noticed the older I got them with my dad kind of a thing, you know, say when I was 18, 19 kind of a thing, and I'd come in a bit later and that, and my ma would be like, oh, is that you coming in? I'd be like, yeah. God, will you check your dad there? He's after coming in from the pub. Make sure the cigarettes aren't around him. This kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, because he'd be smoking sitting on the armchair. Yeah.
Falling asleep there at the armchair with a smoke in his hand, kind of a thing, you know.
Say there because I got 4 minutes left. That sounds like exciting times, Mickey and Guido are in Galway. I want to just go to Sean as well. Sean, hi, how are you?
How are you doing, Niall? Good evening to you.
Good.
How are you?
Did you go to a pub where they were driving cars through the front door and pulling shutters down and petrol bombing the place? That doesn't sound like the memory I have. But different people have different memories. Sean, what was yours?
Mine was, Niall, same. Well, more or less the same as yourself there. It was kept professional as well, as I suppose, as professional as it could be, the father had a good job there in Guinness's. And, we weren't well off, but we were okay, And I always remember there, we come home and, the shopping to be done. And, we head out into the pub and, again, meeting all the cousins and, the aunties and uncles. And it was great times, Niall. It was great times. You don't see anybody anymore. I don't see, I see my friends, I do. I see as much as I can of them, I probably go out now, every second week, Niall, But no, it didn't do me any harm. Of course it didn't, all I have is fond memories. Of course I wanted to go home and, oh, Jesus, again, you're going for another one, and, the lemonades and the crisps and the sandwiches, and you get an old takeaway with St. AJ on the way home, which was pretty cool, It was great memories, it was great crack.
Yeah. And how old were you, Sean? How old were you? Can you remember, how young you were sitting in the pub?
I was only around 10, Niall, at that time, 11, you're 12,
Yeah.
And it went on for a few years, but, again, good memories, my brothers, my sisters, and there was a few of us, and not all of us at the same time, because it was all very family orientated, we always,
But was it? Yeah, we look back at it very fondly, and Angela the same. Now, obviously, Angela had a different experience. Everybody's had a slightly different experience. Mickey's experience is probably a little bit more unusual, but everybody's had a slightly different experience. But do you think it did you any harm?
No way, Niall. No. Never done me any harm. Never done my sisters and brothers any harm. We're not alcoholics. We're not. Jesus, no. It was great crack.
But the one thing it did do is, to all of us, and maybe not so much the generation now, but our generation it taught us that everything revolved around the pub. And that's probably
at that time, Niall.
Yeah, but that's probably not a good thing, is it?
Well, not in this day and age, Niall, but back then, it was work, food, home, my mum and dad were very home orientated.
Yeah.
They'd make sure everything was all right, bills, food in the fridge, and they'd go out then, and, that's the way it was back home, that time. And I'll always remember it, Niall, same traditional Sundays, the ham would be in the pot, and, the spuds would be on, and, we'd have our dinner, Niall, every Sunday. There was no, the father would go out on a Sunday on his own, with the lads, and, we went out probably once a week, maybe twice, because again, it was all localised. It was all, friends and family. It was great. It was great, actually.
Angela, would you like to see that kind of culture back again? Because it is kind of gone.
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, absolutely not. Because
but there was a lot of problems with it, Angela. And the problems were, as we described earlier, the young fella 10 sent over the pub to bring his father home. Because there was a lot of men, primarily, in those days, who were alcoholics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Alcoholics. But the thing is, Niall, a lot of those kids didn't grow up to be alcoholics.
No, well, I didn't.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't,
I don't even drink.
I think we've lost community. We've lost community spirit. The town that I grew up in is not the town that I grew up in. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Dublin town, the same thing, Angela. You're very good to say that. Dublin town is not the same town as I knew as a kid. Even as an adult now, and, it's not the same. It's not. It'll never be the same,
And do you know what it is? And I am going to say it now, and I know, once again, I'm going to be lambasted for this, but it's because kids don't have respect anymore.
Not at all.
Kids don't. They get too much.
Sure, they don't
They
even know
get
what gender they are these
everything
days. Never mind anything else. It's another day.
God, Sean.
But I'm with you, Angela.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what?
in those days, it was kind of kids were seen and not heard. Do you remember that line?
I do.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I tell you what, it was kind of like that, Niall. You know, you'd sit in the corner there and you'd have your packet of potato, as you said, and you'd have your package of peanuts and your bottle of TK if you were lucky, you'd have your Barley's cordial.
When you look at it now and you see
Money.
the way kids treat their parents, Jesus Christ, it can be an absolute disgrace. Like, even to this day now, if I have to, the only time that I would really swear in front of my parents is during a rugby match, right? Where the most I'd say is, that's a load of fucking bollocks, excuse my language.
Yeah,
You know?
100%.
Whereas-
100%.
Okay.
Whereas now it's just like fuck shit, this is all fucking shit. See you next Tuesday.
They're hitting their
This is-
mothers and
and I'm going,
fathers. Something
"You've
that I
lost
never.
respect."
Oh, yeah, no, they have. And sorry, Sean, for cutting you a little bit short. I do apologise, and Angela, I'm cutting you short too, because I have to go into a break. Listen, thank you very much indeed, and thank you, Mickey, as well. I appreciate it. Some great memories there, by the way.
Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan.
Ireland's classic hits radio.